Bienvenue à mon chaîne. I'm here with a nouvelle video, and this one is talking about the changes that have been made to Duolingo. So about 2 months ago, Duolingo changed their format, their unit length, and also just how you learn in the program. Are these changes better? Are these changes worse? And the bottom line is, does it make Duolingo a more competent or less competent tool to learn a new language? And also, is it worth buying the plus? So if you're interested in this, just stay till the end. First, we're going to talk about the format. So refer to my older videos, but the older Duolingo had 10 units. 10 was the number of completion, and in each unit they had about 30 or 40 individual lessons that required you to engage them minimum 5 times, at most 25 times, to get them to completion. The new Duolingo, there's about 200 units. Each unit has about 8 or so lessons in them, and each lesson requires engagement minimum of 3 times to maximum of 6 to be at completion. So I do think that the new format is shorter and a little bit more faster paced. As far as the story, so before, if you go back on a couple of my videos, I just kind of discussed how there were stories, and the stories were unlocked each time you open a new unit, or each time you finish a new lesson or a new grammar lesson in the old Duolingo. Now the stories are kind of built into the progress of learning the language. So unit 1 will have 2 stories, unit 2 will have 2 stories, so on and so forth, all the way until unit almost, I think it's like 197. The other thing that I'm seeing is that they've gotten rid of the audio lessons, which really kind of makes me sad. The audio lessons used to be in a separate tab on Duolingo, where basically you were with 2 people, Estelle and Paul, I believe his name was, and they would go in depth about the pronunciation, the reason why some of the phrases were the way they were, and they would just give like real life examples of people talking and using French. I really didn't used to like those, because I would do them while I was cleaning or driving, because essentially they would say, hey, say, do you want to come with me to play soccer tomorrow? And you would have to say that like off rip on top of your head. Of course, they'd walk you through it beforehand, but it was a good way to practice. So they've gotten rid of those altogether. I cannot find them anywhere on the app, on the mobile app, or on the desktop app. So they're gone, which I'm kind of sad about. Another thing that they have in here, the new format, is that it's optional, but like kind of right in your face. They have time reviews and they have time match madness in each review. So basically, once you get to a certain part of each unit, they'll have like a sleeping animal or a sleeping person on the side, and once you get to a certain part, that person will light up and you can do the reviews, and it has stars underneath. I think that's a good touch, because before you really could only get to those match madness and ramp ups and time reviews if you went to the league page. So it kind of just puts in more reinforcement, more repetition in. Oh, and the other thing that I like about this new one, especially on the mobile app, is that they give you more opportunity to speak. They give you more opportunity to actually type out your answers and to put away the keyboard. I found in the old, especially the old mobile app for Duolingo, that they would kind of hand feed you the answers. So they would say, do you want to play with me? And they would give you the answers, and you just kind of had to like cookie cutter pick which one made the most sense. And so if you kind of knew the letters and knew the words, you could piece together the answer. But in the new one, the new app and the new format, you can choose to put away the keyboard, and you can actually type it out. So it's a more of a challenge, and it also helps you like recollect a little bit better. So those are the changes. I think I kind of got ahead of myself and went into the pros and the cons, but we'll get there now. So the pros of the new Duolingo setup: it is more linear. Before, I felt that you felt like you were just drudging through each unit, because it would take weeks and sometimes months, if there were days where you were light on studying, to finish one unit. Because again, one unit had about 30 lessons in it, and each lesson required you to do it a minimum of 5 times before you could advance to the next. So it would take weeks to get through one unit. Now with the new linear profile of the units, you can get through 1 to 2 units a day, sometimes 3 if you're being really, really ambitious. But to get through 1 to 2, it really makes you feel like you're making progress. It makes you feel like you're learning. And with the built-in repetition, it feels like you're actually retaining what you learn. Takes me, kind of segues into my next point, is all the repetition in this app now. Because in each individual lesson, so say for example, you engage in one lesson, you will get through and say you make it perfect. Great. But say that you make mistakes, they still will put the mistakes at the end of the lesson. And then the personalized reviews will again be mistakes from that unit and also mistakes from previous units, and they're personalized to you. So I do like that a lot. It repeats grammar, it repeats vocabulary, and it also repeats mistakes. So those are things that you just really want, because you need to really like get into the habit of practicing. The other thing that I like about this one, again, is the built-in store. Oh, come on, girl. Hold on. That was a mistake. Are the built-in stories. I really enjoy the stories because they push the vocabulary. Almost all of the stories have new phrases, have new grammar, and also have new words that the lesson that you're currently on and the previous ones haven't covered. Because I kind of am the type of person that if I'm learning something, I like to know where I'm going. If I keep doing this repetition, I'm going towards something else. It's kind of, it's just a quirk for me. Like, for example, if I'm reading a book and I'm getting really antsy about a character not being there, for example, this is a side note, Twilight. So I was reading New Moon, and is New Moon the second one? Eclipse? No, New Moon. So I was reading New Moon, and in New Moon, Edward goes away. Spoiler alert, the book's been out for like, I don't know, a billion years. But in New Moon, Edward goes away in like the first couple of chapters, and then it's just Jacob. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to finish this book if Edward don't come back. So just to kind of know where I'm going, I would flip to the back of the book and just scan the page. And as soon as I saw Edward, I was like, okay, I'll finish the book. That's kind of how I am with learning as well. I just kind of have to know what my end goal is. And I do like the fact that they provide new phrases, new vocabulary. So it makes me feel like, ooh, it's kind of sneaky. You're like, I just learned something new that, that was before I was supposed to learn it. So, I'm a little advanced. I like that feeling of it. And then also they have the new, another pro, which kind of goes along with content, is they have new fully hard lessons built in, meaning that before, you could choose, and they still have this option as well, where you can choose a hard lesson, or you could, at the very end, they make things a little bit harder. But this new format, they have hard things built in, and in these hard lessons, they don't give you any tips. You can't click on, for some of them, you can't click on the words to try to figure out what it is. You don't have the option of the words. So like before, in the non-hard lessons, you can take away the keyboard that they give you or the words that they give you. But this one, like literally, it says it will have a sentence or a question with, you can't click on it, and it's either you say it or you type it. That's it. And I really like the challenge, because you're challenging yourself already by learning a new language. So challenge yourself within that to help yourself grow. Now we have to go on to the cons. One of the major cons that I saw was that when they made the change, it didn't save all of my progress. So in a new lesson, I will often run into stories that I have already completed prior to the conversion. It's not bad, because again, repetition is good when you're learning a new lesson, but it does kind of take away some of the excitement when you're like, oh, I'm getting to a new story. What new lessons, what new words am I going to learn? And you find out that it's something that you've already done. The same goes for some of the grammar and the vocabulary. Like I've been doing the new format now since it changed, and I'm just now repeating some of like the office vocabulary that I did maybe like a week or two before the format changed. So again, it's not a major gripe. It's just kind of, I don't know, it kind of makes you feel like you go backwards a little bit to go forward, which sometimes you have to. The biggest con is the audio lessons. Duolingo, get it together. I don't know if you're giving us more, if you're giving us more complicated ones. Please bring them back. They were really, really good, and I liked doing them on my way to work sometimes, or if I just had a quick like 5 minutes, I'd be like, let me listen to Estelle and Paul. And he loved to dance and she liked to play soccer. So I'm like, I feel like I was between a student or two tutors, and they were helping me out. So bring those back. Those were very helpful. And they also would go into like the actual pronunciation. They'd be like, this word sounds like this in English. And then you just take off. It was nice. I miss it. So this brings me to the overall verdict. Is Duolingo worth the dollars and the time? Absolument. Okay. Like I said, I'm on day 202 of studying. At day 1, I knew how to say what I used to know how to say. Une, deux, trois. I used to say je ne parle pas le français, which means I don't speak French. And that was it. Mais maintenant, j'ai pu parler, j'ai pu écouter, regarder, j'ai pu lire et écrire le français. Et aussi, j'ai pu avoir une conversation avec une personne qui parle français de première langue. Boom. Yes, it's worth it. The plus is about $7 a month, or about $84 a year. That's what I pay for, because you get unlimited errors, you get unlimited tries. Also, I really like the plus for the phone, because it has review sessions. I don't know if this is I don't know if they have this for the free version, but I know for the plus they have like review sessions, like focus. Okay, so they have like pronunciation, and then they have like, and this is a daily thing, what does this one say? Unit rewind. They have that, and then like they have collections, so they have like my mistakes, and they literally will you can just review your mistakes. Also, it's unlimited lives. I think with the free version you get like 3 or 4 mistakes every like couple of hours before you have to just stop and recharge. It's definitely worth it. I think that it is wonderful. You can also learn multiple languages. So sometimes when I'm kind of done with French, I will switch over to Spanish to review that. But, take my word for it. It's awesome. I like the changes. I really feel like I'm progressing. I feel like I'm moving. And the good news is that it's not kind of like a one and done. You're done with a grammar lesson and that's it. Basically, they build the review into each unit. So you'll go from unit 37 to 38, and it'll still have the same things. It's just increasing in difficulty, which is repetition, and also challenging you a little bit more. Yeah, get it. Try it out. Get the free version. Get the paid version. Duolingo is great. That's all I got to say. And I feel that if I keep doing this every day, I'm going to be very prepared for France. It's not perfect, but hey, I could do it. If I could do it, you can do it. Get Duolingo. Bye.